Appreciate the communication around scheduling.
I wasn't recording on
That's
my end. Yeah, I have to end right after 1 hour. So, just a quick note before we
okay.
start. I'm recording this session, so
Mhm.
if you want to take notes, you can take notes. But if not, I'm going to upload this as a private video on YouTube later, and then send you the link, and you can review whenever you want.
Awesome. That's perfect.
All right, cool. So, about when you sent me the message, you were 1350-ish MR with Chun Li. What are you at right now?
Yeah. Now I'm 1406, I think. I had a pretty decent day the other day.
Okay, nice. Okay, so getting slightly better,
Yeah,
and you said you want
1406.
to work on like consistency and trying to get better, and just find a game plan that you can use to help you
Yeah.
improve, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's take a quick look at this before we get started. What I'm gonna do really quickly, I'm gonna run you
Hmm.
through this. So I do lots of coaching, and generally speaking, I find that people who are like sub 1600 or people who like can't break 1500, 1600 like ever,
Hmm.
generally struggle from most like many of the same things. So I'm gonna give you my quick rundown real quick, and then we're gonna watch one of your like a couple of your replays, and I'm gonna see if any of this applies or if you're dealing with something completely different.
Cool.
So, first thing I usually see is like lack of a game plan,
Hmm.
and this is a broad topic, but it can range from things like your character.
Right. Yeah.
So generally, it's these two things. So lack of a general game plan with your character based on which character you're fighting, and then things like match flow, like what you're doing in round one, round two, round three, and like then the second match, things like that. Then the next thing I usually
Right.
see is um, just a general
Do you have
lack
a
of.
stream up? Just curious.
Oh,
I
sorry. You
just
know
wasn't
what?
sure
I
if I was
forgot
supposed
to
to be
I forgot to share
watching.
on Discord. I have it on
Okay.
my end.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry
There
about
you
that.
go.
Sorry about that. There you go.
There you go. All right.
My
Perfect.
mistake. Yeah. So
Mhm.
lack of set player Oki with your character, or inefficient lack of or inefficiencies in it,
Mhm.
something like that. The next thing I'll see is just overall poor risk reward. So going for like the riskiest option with like the least reward is a really common thing that I see.
Mhm.
And then the last huge thing that I see is drive meter management issues.
Yeah, especially with Chun. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been it's been an ongoing conversation in my other discords.
Mm-hmm. It's a tricky one. She needs drive meter to be really effective, and it can be kind of tricky with her.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'm gonna say is just overall defense, and I'm gonna
Right.
also include this as which will also kind of go into one
Mm.
second here. Whoops. So defensive movement, and then also decisions in neutral, like how you're trying to use your movement to kind of establish your neutral, and how you're kind of what do you call it, making your opponent try to do things. And then the final last one that I'm going to say is going to be awareness.
Mm.
So I usually find that most people aren't able to quickly get a read on their opponent's playstyle, and usually in this game, it depends, but usually for opponents who are below 1600, not you as the player, but opponents, they usually have a
Mhm.
very like one-dimensional play style, or they'll just kind of rotate between two or maybe three basic defensive or offensive options. And if you can't get a beat on that, then there's no way you can beat them. And if you just run your default game plan, it's going to be really difficult. But if you know how to understand what your opponent's play style is, you can quickly adapt and just kind of pinpoint on the one or two things that they're always defaulting to, and then just do the opposite of that and beat them really
Mm.
quickly.
Right.
And we'll watch one of your matches. Let me turn this off. Let me turn this back on. We'll watch one of your matches right now, and we'll see if you're
Okay.
falling into one or more of those habits. And if we are, we're going to come up with a strategy you can use to kind of blow through that.
Sounds good.
Before we go to the matches, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. It's just some extra things you didn't answer in my form. Number one, what controller are you on?
Fight stick.
Fight sticks, or regular arcade
Mad
stick. Okay.
Catz. Yeah,
Oh, the
like
classic.
one of the E2s. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. You're on one of those. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a hand cam because I'm on leverless, so that's not gonna help you. Next is going to be, what do you think are your strengths and what do you think are your weaknesses right now as a player?
I do think because like I'm kind of a Chun-Li purist for the most part. Like I do have a decent understanding of the character. I do have some like when I can actually get it, some pretty decent like I guess cash out combos, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And when I play with my friends, they say that my neutral's pretty good. I don't agree. I feel like my neutral needs a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But they do say that when I'm on, my neutral is pretty strong. And I do feel like I've been getting better at the meter management thing. Like in some of my more recent games, they've been saying that I haven't been burning out as often as I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to fix some of that. But weakness wise, I definitely feel like the opening of the match is usually one of the scariest parts of the match for me, like the beginning, because um I tend to overthink it. I've been trying, so I did actually watch one of your videos talking about game plans, and I've been trying to implement some of that, just the walk forward and block and see what they do kind of thing. I do still kind of find sometimes I accidentally just will walk into stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to make sure that like even if I do, then I don't just automatically say, "Oh, I fucked up," and just throw the whole game away. I definitely get shaken very easily. Like if my execution's inconsistent, which is you could say is a negative. So especially with an execution heavy character like this, if I do tend to mess things up and being able to not just drop the game because I screwed things up is kind of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I could definitely be better with my anti-airs or more patient. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll take that away and just say patience, because I feel like a lot of my problems in neutral and with anti-airs could be fixed if I was more of a patient player, but I
Mm-hmm.
tend to uh rush into things or
Mm-hmm.
like be preemptive with my game plan,
Okay,
and that
gotcha.
ends up
Okay.
just getting me with punished or whatever.
All right, so you're more offensive than you are defensive, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a look at your replays. What's your username?
Mythos XIII.
Is that right?
Yes.
All right, this is you right here. Okay, so we
Yeah,
got some
so those
custom
were
room.
like just friendlies I was playing the other day.
So your friends are generally around the same MR as you.
Um, More or less, like I feel like most of them are like 15 to like high master. Like the like a lot of the people I end up playing against are in like that almost high master range.
Mm, okay. All right, gotcha. So let's watch your most recent one, the win versus Marissa,
Okay.
and let's just see how it goes. So I'm not gonna say much during this first replay.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna watch, and I want you to take some notes, and I want you to think about like why did you win.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let me just see that again. Okay. Okay, nice throw. All right, so you're playing against a madman.
Yeah, I wasn't well. I won't speak too much, but yeah, I'm definitely taking those mental notes right now.
Nice. Man, players like this are frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
Probably
oh,
accidental, right?
yeah, I'll admit it was accidental,
It looks like
but
though.
it worked out in my favor.
Man, I gotta say, just a quick note. Watching like a Marissa like this, man, it's way too
Yeah.
easy to get into master. This is not a master play.
Yeah, not at all.
Nice, okay. Could you level one there?
Yeah, I could have leveled one, but I think it was just like a execution flub.
Okay, let's watch that one. Why do you think you won that?
I know by that point in the set, I knew what kind of player he was. But I still kind of so that first thing when you called him a madman, I'm pretty sure I said the same exact thing because he did the same thing twice when I was expecting him not to. But overall, like Marissa, characters like Marissa don't scare me as much,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of had a feeling just from the way he was playing Marissa, like if I just do my general game plan of like let's try to get some Oki and put him in the mix, like I can probably beat him. I just need to not get hit by her BS. And he wasn't really capitalizing on a lot of my mistakes either, so I felt a little bit more safe.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna come back to that replay, and I'm gonna watch this one. I just want to see how you play against like a completely different character, like a character with a fireball, and like how can I say the best one of the best characters in the game versus one of the worst characters. Let's just see.
Yeah, he was playing pretty well from what I remember, or at least getting me.
Okay, well, you won the first round. Okay, nice. Good job baiting it. Nice. Nice. Okay, round two.
Round two. Fight.
Okay, just the space, nothing serious there. Okay. That's not so bad though. Okay, round three.
Just pressing buttons.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Nice anti-air. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that
So-
was annoying. But yeah.
Yeah, so a couple things. So number one, let's talk about your I kind of want to talk about that Akuma match first, but let's just do this in order. Let's look at this Marissa one. I think we watched this one first. So against this character, the way you started, you were kind of running your default game plan. You were super offensive right from the start, but
Right.
I feel like you're not using Chun-Li's strong tools in a strong way, and you're kind of using them in a weak way. And what do I mean by that? So what are Chun-Li's strong tools? What makes this character kind of strong? So strong tools, being able to poke at ranges that other characters can't with moves like forward or back medium punch. She has a 7-frame long range crouching medium kick, one of the best in the game. She also has a really slow fireball that she can walk behind. So like light punch fireball,
Light fireball.
walk behind it or drive rush behind it, put your opponent into a mix, kind of like a Guile or like my kind of thing with the fans. That's really strong. Also, the fact that she can do like 3 jabs and like just automatically space trap afterwards is also really strong. But I don't see you really using those tools very often, if at all. So let's you almost do here at the beginning of round 1, and let's see how you do it. You go like this. You load it up. You get into the match, and you're doing this kind of. Well, you know what? This might not be the first one we watched. Let's see.
Yeah, this is a different one.
This is a different one. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Which one was it?
It was.
This one, right?
Maybe it was that one.
I think it was this one.
It's a fuse one. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose the first one, then you win on the next one. Okay, that's the one. It's the first one we watched. So you start the round with forward medium punch, but the way you do it is you walk like right up to Marissa. There. So you went for forward medium punch, but you're doing it at like range 0. So that's not really, how can I say? You might have wanted a standing medium punch there, but you're still holding forward, so I don't think that's actually what you were going for. I think you were really going for a forward medium punch. So here at this spacing like this doesn't make the move strong, because it does have good startup, but like, I mean, not a 0.0 range, and then if they block it, like it doesn't leave you at great spacing. So if you are going to be going in for a forward medium punch, I want to see you doing it at a range where you can reach them, but they can't really reach you. So like somewhere around here.
Right.
Number 1. Number 2, I want you to think about why you're using forward medium punch. So Marissa, what's she going to be doing? Most likely she's going to be doing her own strong moves. Marissa's buttons at this range are pretty good. She got her standing medium punch target combo. She has the charged quarter circle forward punch button, so she can get armor on it. So just thinking about what's your goal with doing a forward medium punch here. Like let's say it's blocked, right? You're doing forward medium punch, you're walking forward, you don't have charge for fireball, so it's just like a forward medium punch, you space out, and that's it. So it doesn't really lead to much here other than spacing and to kind of poke at your character. So just thinking about why you're using it. Then also Marissa, generally speaking, she's a little bit weak, not a little bit, but she's quite weak to low, so maybe at this space you should be going for crouching medium kick instead. But more so, my issue here is your just general strategy. So Marissa's a kind of powerhouse character, and she tries to get big hits and go into big damage, and you should be trying to negate that as much as you can. However, you just walk right up into her face and you push a somewhat slow button. So just in terms of like a matchup strategy, maybe that's not what you want to be doing as this character. But I mean, it's round 1, match 1. If you're going to take some risky plays, or if you're going to be experimenting with things, round 1, especially near the beginning half of round 1, is where you want to do that, because your opponent doesn't have super meter. So while you will take damage from like drive rush cancels, I mean, you're not going to take 70% because they don't have like level 2 or level 3. So if you're going to take some risk, now is the time to do it. So I don't mind this too much, but I just don't like this default game plan too much of like doing like a walk up forward medium punch. Then here are just some general matchup strategies. This is a safe jump since like season 1, day 1. So
Yeah.
you should not be getting hit by this.
Why did I press a button? Or
Yeah, you didn't push.
What did I even do? I
I think you messed up your
blocked
fuzzy
it
timing.
wrong. Yeah.
So whatever. Then here you get knocked down. Now she's almost in burnout. So if she wants to continue her pressure, she has to do something. Then okay, you take it easy. Okay, now I want to see what your default game plan is here. So I think what a lot of people at this range should do is when you knock down your opponent, 2 things I want to see you start to think about. Number 1 is, what are you going to do on after you knock down your opponent for the first time? And what are you going to do when you get knocked down by your opponent the first time? Because round 1, everybody has different opinions, but the way I like to approach round 1 and the way I like to coach people for approaching round 1 is round 1 should be your, what do you call it? Like your data collection round. Yeah. And if you lose really, really quickly, that's kind of bad, because you don't get any data. You just got hit and you lost neutral. So you should generally try to structure your wins, or sorry, try to structure your first round to get as much data on your opponent as possible. So let's see what you do here. You go for meaty crouching hard punch, which is okay, but I'll show you this later in training mode. But let's say your opponent is doing delay throw on wake up every single time, and you hit them with a meaty attack. Well, what info do we get by doing a meaty attack on our opponent's wake up? Well, if they're doing delay throw tech, they're going to block. And you don't know how they're blocking, because they could be doing just hold down back. They could be doing delay throw tech. They could be doing fuzzy jab, which will block against the meaty. They could do fuzzy jab. They could do fuzzy jump. You know, they could be doing like a delayed parry. So if you do the meaty attack, all you see is a block, but you don't know what kind of block they're doing. However, if you were to shimmy the first time, no matter what wake up option they choose, if they're option selecting it with a like a defensive option afterwards, it'll come out no matter what, because they're not locked in blocks done. So just thinking of just doing that is generally a good way to see what your opponent's doing, and that gives you the benefit is it gives you the most data possible in round one, because whatever they do will come out. And then the downside of it is you essentially just give up your turn off your knockdown. So you have to ask yourself, is giving up your turn worth it for the data that you're going to be getting? And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I feel like a lot of people in like lower MR, like below 1600, sometimes even if you get data on them, it's not really that worth it, just because they're kind of random, and they might just cycle through like wake up jab, wake up armor, wake up DI. Like they might just cycle through like really crazy options. So against those players, you don't really need to get a read on them. You just be like, oh, okay, I just throw them every time and everything will be cool.
Yeah.
So just a mindset thing. I just want you to try to structure round one to get more data, because I don't see you playing that way since you went for the meaty crouching heavy punch. So just something to think about. If that's not your play style, that's fine. Just, consider it. Then you drop the combo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then you go for this into. Okay, you go for the mix. Into the throw, I like the pressure. Into the throw, good. So now you've seen this person wake up with buttons like twice. No, once now. Then wakes up with it again. So once you see your opponent kind of wake up with this, you should be thinking, okay, well, what's the meter and health situation like over here? So if this person's waking up with the armor, it's not really that strong of an option for Marisa against opponents who know how to beat it, like with throw. So if we look at the health here, basically any combo that you take, you lose. And any combo she takes, she loses. So this is a one-touch kill situation for both of you, and you both have enough drive meter to kind of convert off like even a jab. And you have the super to finish off the opponent. So that's something to keep in mind. But then also, now at level 2, Marisa has access to a real wake-up reversal with her level 2. It is on the slower side, but it's real. It's a true invulnerable move. So you got to be thinking here, what's my risk reward? Am I going to push or am I going to relax? And if I am going to push, what am I going to push with? Right? So you decide to go for shimmy, which will beat the level 2, which was smart, but you'll also lose if she decides to do the command grab. So
But
if you're going to do this, I would shimmy just a little bit further away. You're just a little bit close. You're not covering both options here. The opponent was kind of bad and didn't do command grab and just relaxed. But then here, your other issue is you got to be thinking, okay, what can she wake up with? If she wakes up with level 2, I shouldn't push a button immediately. If she wakes up with armor, I have to go for a low because it's not like full body.
Because that beats it, right?
Yeah, and then if you do like a delayed button, so you could do something like do a quick shimmy and then do a delayed crouching medium kick and buffer a drive rush. What this will do is if they wake up with level 2, you'll block it. If they wake up with the armor, you'll hit them out of the recovery frames at the end. You'll get a combo automatically. And then if they jump, your crouching medium kick will whiff and you still have enough time to react with an anti-air. So that's how you kind of structure your offense against players like this in a kill situation. You want to pick one option that will beat as many things as possible while also negating as much risk as possible for you.
Right.
Now, of course, your
And
opponent
I definitely. Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say, like, I definitely feel like in this case, like me picking the crouch medium punch as my shimmy option was the wrong option because I had been like labbing something with it, so like it was kind of like in the muscle memory. But and I probably should have brought this into the negatives, but I tend to like autopilot a lot, and I feel like it was like an autopiloted shimmy rather than an intentional one, which is like what you're talking about, where it's like if I know my options and I know what beats what, then crouching medium kick would have been just smarter all around in that scenario.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the thing I'm talking about, like adaptability, right? So
Right.
just I mean, you
Mhm.
you understand the option, you know what it is. Now it's just a matter of changing your mindset. This isn't like something you practice in
Right.
training mode. This is just something all in your head. So being able to
Hmm.
flip that switch and like choose the best option. Okay, anyways, so your opponent does this, throws you. All right, you lost because of that. Then we go into round two when you kind of change things and you kind of turn around. So let's see. So last match you started with walk up, forward, medium punch, too close. What do you start with this time? So same. So now she's trying to poke you out of everything. So
Hmm.
round start heavy punch is pretty unhinged
Yeah.
from the opponent. So you got to be thinking, okay, this guy is not thinking about much. This guy is just playing the game he wants to play. So this should tell you a lot about your opponent. Okay, then here's something I want to see you start to do. So here after this, what a lot of Marisa players will do, there's just generally two things that they're going to do. Number one, they're going to drive rush cancel and then try to put you into like the command grab or like media attack mix. And the second thing they're going to do is do this punch. And
Mhm.
sometimes they'll do the uncharged version and sometimes they'll do the charged version. Do you know the option select to beat this?
I do not actually.
Okay, so during the uncharged version is a block string, and you're left at +5. But generally speaking, yeah, you can't punish it because she gets pushed back. But if she
Right.
goes for the charged version, and you push an attack, she gets armor on it, and she'll beat your move. However, the charged version only has like upper body invulnerability. Her legs are not armored. So what you can do against this, you would just basically do a delayed crouching medium kick after you see this string
Mm.
come out, and then if she goes for the immediate version, you're gonna block it because you're doing a delayed crouching medium kick. And if she goes for the charged version, your crouching medium kick will automatically come out. You hit her, and then you can just buffer a drive rush behind it.
Right. So
So
is the target combo into the charged Gladius?
I think that's the name of it. I can't remember. This is
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
punchy
yeah.
punch, not the Superman punch, the punchy punch.
Yeah.
So you just go into training mode, load this up, record Marissa doing medium punch target combo. You just basically mash on medium punch a punch. You go medium punch, and then you record one recording of her doing this quarter circle forward light punch uncharged, and then you do one more recording of her doing the exact same thing but with a full charge, and then you just practice doing like a fuzzy crouching medium kick.
Hmm.
So you should be timing it. You should be timing your medium kick like as soon as like just after the uncharged version will hit you,
Okay.
and then that'll beat a lot of really bad Marissa players. Okay.
Interesting.
All right, so now you know this person loves to just do stuff after you throw them in the
Yeah.
corner. So what's he gonna do? Nothing. You shimmy, you go for the throw, okay? Okay, now you're respecting the pressure, but again, this person has really just shown all they wake up with is either throw or armor. So here I would just, if I were you, just pick the option that's most likely to win. Just do a little shimmy, crouching medium kick.
Yeah.
Beats the armor, beats the throw. Then here you have tons of drive meter. You're almost full. If you're going to be going for this crouching medium punch,
I
either
better buffer that. Yeah.
A, buffer it into a drive rush, or B, I don't think you're expecting the punish counter, but if you were being super on point, you could have comboed into crouching medium kick from here.
Into crouching medium kick. Right. Yeah. You're right.
Alright, so just a little bit of your own character awareness here. So I feel
Yep.
like you're doing that crouching medium punch without any real reason. You're just doing it because like, yeah, maybe I can hit them. But that's looking at things like very much just like one step ahead of you. Like I want to hit them. Okay, I hit them. Good. But then
Yeah.
if you want to take it like looking ahead, like step 2 or step 3, you're gonna be okay. I want to hit them. What happens if I hit them? How can I push my advantage from this? So either drive rushing or looking for a counter hit confirm into crouching medium kick would be nice. And then again, just kind of like walking up and like doing light jabs at this range against somebody who does lots of crazy stuff like armor, and especially against a character like Marissa who has this punch, probably not the strongest option. Okay, but not a huge thing. Okay, she's plus after this, so you don't generally want to you mashing. You're -2 here, so you're not going to win. So this is just matchup knowledge. You know. Then you go for this mix, which is a little whack. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, crushing mean kick, it hit. You didn't confirm it. So
Yeah, that was accident.
okay, but even so, even like the issue I see is even if you mistime this, it happens, mistimes. I mean, it's part of life here with fighting games, but the fact that you went to standing light punch shows me that you're not hit confirming your crouching medium kick drive rush.
Mm-hmm.
Because your default option after crouching medium kick drive rush should be back heavy punch, or at the very least standing medium punch.
Yeah.
So we need to work.
I literally have no idea why I did that.
All right. It's just a one-off thing. Okay, then again, pushing against a character who has armor. Okay, good anti-air. There, now you get it. You could have killed here, by the way.
Level 3.
Well, level 1 or level 2 would have worked here, not level 3. All right, so but good job of getting it. Just remember, try to get your kills when you can. Then again, okay, so first round you walked up, you got counter hit. Second round started with standing heavy punch. Round 3, this person's probably gonna push a button again. So if I were you, I wouldn't be walking into their range and jumping, because you're probably gonna lose against standing medium punch, standing heavy punch, anything else. So here I would just chill, just see if they whiff a button and then whiff punish. Had you just stood there, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Like this, like this, anything. So really,
Heavy punch.
just I want you to also think about like what is your opponent showing at round start, and then how should you adjust to kind of give yourself a good chance of beating that at round start. So don't just autopilot your options.
Yep.
Okay, nice. I like this. Good. You hit from that. Again, the delayed crouching medium kick there works really well. Okay, nice. You try to go for the combo, I see. Alright, then you get this, which is pretty cool. Okay, then you win off that. So those are some things I want you to think about. I think this match really showed how you don't really have like an adjustable game plan in mind, especially the round start stuff. Things on your opponent's wake up, it can be really scary, and sometimes it's difficult to know what to do when your opponent gets up, when you knock them down, especially when they have meter. So I wouldn't focus on that so much. I would focus more on like your neutral choices and like how you're using your buttons in those situations. Right. Then this Akuma match, let's skip to the second one. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll tell you from the first one, you have it looks to me like you don't know how to deal with fireballs in this game. You didn't parry a single fireball from Akuma. I don't mean perfect parry, I just mean like regular parry.
Yeah, regular.
So generally speaking, in this game, if you're not parrying fireballs, you're going to have a rough time, just because you're losing drive meter and your opponent's gaining. And then also just making less hard reads, like you try to do like your flip kick, like your quarter circle back like kick move. I can't remember the name. Wazanshu. Yeah, and but you just did it at weird timings and things like that. So let's watch the second one, and I'm gonna tell you what I notice here. Because whatever, it's first match against a really strong character, so maybe you couldn't get the read, but let's see if you're able to adjust at all this second match. You should be drive rushing there.
Yeah.
Again, parry.
Parried.
Alright, then this is something you did in the first round, the first match too. So you did like light fireball and you dashed at them. So
yeah, instead, so that's definitely a problem I have, where it's like I'm dashing instead of walking.
Yeah, so really there's really, well, drive rush is good because you can still, like, you're going to be at frame advantage off a drive rush. You can still pressure after. But dashing is bad because you don't get any of the advantages of doing this light punch fireball. Because if they perfect parry it and they do like perfect parry button, you're going to get clipped.
Yeah.
Because you can't block. But if you walk, you can still like walk, block, and like defend against everything. So don't forget about how strong a perfect parry is against fireballs. Because you're fighting a good opponent, they can shut down your fireball timing game because, you know, they recover instantly. So just I would just say don't dash after this. Just walk. Okay, you get it? This is like the season 1 combo, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So you should learn. You should learn. Yeah, learn the season 2 combo. It's better. Okay, then here, like your timing space, your spacing is off. I think you're supposed to be dashing after that.
Yeah, it's like one dash, right? Dash or like a walk or something.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's the meaty one. So I'm not sure if you just missed inputted or whatever. Let's take a look at your inputs. Nah, you don't walk forward. That doesn't give you meaty. So you have to dash first. Okay, then here generally, I notice you push buttons when you're minus frames. So here you get hit. I mean, I don't think you know the frame data on this. Like, most people don't know the frame data when they get hit by moves. It's not that important, but like, just generally speaking, when you get hit, usually you're minus. So you don't really want to be challenging too much here. There you just got space trapped. Okay, oh, then he messes up. Nice Barrio, I'll wake up. Ah, then you just got.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, another thing I want to see is think about. So,
Yeah.
in the first, we'll watch the first match a little bit, but you basically, in the first match, you just kind of like didn't do anything at round start, which is totally fine, by the way. Not doing anything and just seeing what your opponent is going to do at round start is a totally valid choice, especially in this game where some people start with like drive rush and you want to check them. But what I want you to think about is, I want you to think about what you're going to commit to at round start. And just to make things easy for yourself, I want you to break it up into two different play styles. Number one, I'm going to be the one making the play first, which means you commit to an offensive option. And that can be anything. It can be neutral drive rush, it can be jump, it can be fireball. Excuse me. It can be absolutely anything you want. Just you saying, I'm committing to an offensive option. I'm the one who's going to start the round with something, and I'm going to see how my opponent reacts. And the second thing I want you to do is think, okay, I'm not going to go for an offensive option. I'm going to play reactionary. I am going to be the defender. Why? Because I think my opponent is going to do something slow and dumb that I can react to and shut down. So, but I want you to commit hard to one of those two options. And if you're going to commit to the defensive one, like this, like walk forward, walk back, let's think about what's the point of doing walk forward, walk back, round start. What normals can Akuma hit you with at this range? None of them. Maybe the tip of standing heavy kick, but like whatever. If you block, if you're crouching, it whiffs. So he's probably not going to start the round with standing heavy kick. What are Akuma players most likely going to start the round with? I'm going to say they're going to start with fireball. They're going to start with fireball. They're going to start with forward jump. They're going to start with demon raid. Those are the three most common. If you were fighting a character with a really fast drive rush, like, I don't know, what would Mai start the round with? Well, OD fan, backdash, OD fan, jump, or maybe jump into dive kick to mess up your timing, and then drive rush are like a couple of really common options. So when you're fighting this character, you should be thinking, when you're taking the defensive stance, you should be thinking, okay, I'm just going to react. And doing this back and forth shimmy thing is something I see a ton of people in like like 1700 MR do. And I don't know if you watch my streams or not, but in my stream we call this the platinum shimmy. Because basically what happens is you watch a lot of top level players, like you'll watch like Punk or you'll watch Daigo, and they do like this little back and forward walk in neutral or at the beginning of the round. And the reason why they do that is because they're trying to get into the tip of their opponent's poke range, and then just when they get into the tip, walk back, and they're trying to bait a preemptive poke from the opponent to stop them from walking into their effective zone. Now, that playstyle is really good, number one, if your opponent is trying to trying to stop you from getting into their range and they do push a button. And it's also really good play, number two, if you have really good reactions and you are amazing at whiff punishing. Someone like Punk, he doesn't let people push crouching medium punch in his face. He whiff punishes them 99.9% of the time. But if you don't have those reactions, then this is a really weak playstyle because you end up focusing more energy on just walking back and forth. And I just find that people like sub 1700 tend to kind of like turn off their brain when they do that back walk and forth thing. And they just like, they get jumped in on, they get drive rushed on. Like they're just not, for some reason, they just don't react to anything. They're just looking for like maybe one specific thing. They're like, I'm looking for a crouching medium kick, and if it comes, maybe they whiff punish it. But most of the matches I see from people, even if the crouching medium kick does come, they still don't whiff punish it. So I don't know. It's just this weird thing where I think people focus too much on their movement and not about what they're trying to accomplish with that movement.
Right.
So for you, I would say don't even do the back walk and forth thing. Just like commit to a defensive, just like down back, round start. And had you just down back, you could like jab out of this or something.
Yeah. And I think that's why I missed the standing heavy. Like, I wasn't ready for it because I was too busy doing the shimmy.
Good pressure here.
Wasn't ready for it.
Okay, again there with this medium punch. Here, should have drive rushed,
Yeah.
you would have killed.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta have stronger corner pressure here. You gotta like think of an option. So here you see him neutral jump, you gotta be thinking, okay, this guy wants to get out of the corner. So all you have to do in a situation like this against an opponent like this, just don't lose your patience. Once you're standing here, like just in the middle or just behind the timer, I wish I coined this phrase. Phrase is not my phrase, like an old Guilty Gear thing. This is called the rainbow of sadness. All right, it's the rainbow of happiness for you, but for your opponent, it's the rainbow of sadness. And once you have your opponent in this range, you are the one who's like dictating the flow of the match because you're playing Chun-Li. You're tied with like the fastest walk speed in the game with Akuma, and you can adjust your spacing as much as you want, whereas they can't adjust their spacing. So they're the ones who have to do something. So if you stay here with this low health, I mean, most people in this game, when you get them in the corner, all they're thinking about is, I need to get out of the corner like yesterday. So they're going to do something to get out of the corner. So just relax here, try to anti-air, try to not take too much risk, and if you had been a little bit more patient, you could have like anti-aired this cross-up attempt. Then I would also recommend here, okay, you get knocked down, you go for wake up jab. I'm going to assume you went for wake up jab because you thought your opponent was going to shimmy. Because if that's not the case, wake up jab is one of the worst defensive options in this game on wake up. The reason why it's one of the worst options is because the only thing, like, did you play Street Fighter 5?
Yeah.
Okay, Street Fighter 5 wake up jab was a legit option because there was variable wake up timing on your normal tech or back tech. So like the actual frames would change and your opponent would have to adjust their meaty timing in accordance with which get up option you chose. But in this game, it's the same no matter what you do, whether you get up in place or whether you recover backwards. The frames are the same. The spacing changes and they might have to use drive rush, but the timing doesn't. So wake up jab, really the only thing wake up jab beats in this game, like cleanly, like actually wins, not just block like this, like actually hits your opponent, is if they screw up their meaty timing. But that's risky because you have to assume your opponent's bad or they made a mistake. But if your opponent is shimmying you, they're walking backwards, they're not pushing a button, this will connect. And look how much drive bar you have. So here, if you're gonna take that risk of doing a wake up jab, and you think, okay, my opponent's shimmying, at least drive rush out of it. This way you put your opponent into a mix after.
Right.
So don't just jab, because now you're taking all this risk with none of the reward. Okay, good job there.
Final round. Fight.
So that's the patience thing I'm talking about, like right here. You do this, and so far, you haven't gotten a single Hazanshu against any of his fireballs. So which tells me, even before this one, you haven't gotten a single one. So you don't have a read on this person's fireball timing. If you don't have a read on their fireball timing, I would recommend not going for the anti-fireball move. Because it's just way too risky. So just play neutral, don't lose your patience, don't go for the YOLO anti-fireball move. Like, you're not Chun-Li, it's not heavy punch, backspin knuckle, you're not left at like +3 in their face after this. It's not that kind of tool. So just relax. You whiff the button, okay, go back to neutral. Don't just do that. Then you get hit. Here, boom. What was your wake up option there? Okay, just block, that's fine. So this is something else I want to talk about. This is something else that happens to a ton of people that I see. You block this, you walk back. All right, so once Akuma does, and not even Akuma, just basically any character in this game, crouching medium kick, drive rush, jab. Most characters in this situation are going to be left at either +2 or +3, depending on the character. Akuma's one of the better ones because he gets +2. Like Cammy only, he gets +3. Cammy or something only gets +2. Luke only gets +2. But Akuma's one of like the blessed characters. He gets +3. So here in this situation, if you try to walk backwards and he went for like immediate throw after this jab, you don't have either the frames or the walk speed to get out of throw range here. So you would have gotten throw, which means what does walking backwards actually beat? Well, walking backwards will beat somebody who's also walking backwards to shimmy you, right?
Right.
So if, assuming you were walking back with purpose, with the intent of expecting your opponent to shimmy, what you would want to do is take a tiny step back and then crouching medium kick because they're walking backwards, because you think they're going to shimmy. If not, why are you walking backwards? Because if Akuma did this into crouching light kick, you would lose. If he did this into immediate throw, you would lose. And if he did this into a frame trap, you wouldn't lose, but you would just block it. But basically what I'm trying to say is, why are you walking backwards if you're not going for the counter to walking backwards?
Right.
And if you're walking backwards expecting maybe he'll shimmy, but maybe he won't, and let's say you were at lower drive and you didn't have like almost full, and you're like, well, maybe he'll shimmy, but maybe he'll block, and I don't want to waste my bar. I don't want to put myself into burnout on a crouching medium kick drive rush on block. You're going to think, well, maybe he's going to autopilot his shimmy, take a step back, and do like a delayed button, which is what happened. Then you should be looking for a whiff punish, and you whiff any whiffs standing heavy punch in your face, which is totally reactable. And what do? Forward jump.
Yeah. Yep.
So this sequence here tells me that you're not really thinking about your options, and you're just kind of doing them because you feel like it, or because that's like your autopilot. So I think the big thing from you, and this kind of highlights an overarching theme we've seen in all your matches, is I really want you to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Because I feel like for the most part, you're not really choosing your options with intent. You're just kind of going for whatever you feel like doing. So I think more than anything else, more than working on your neutral, more than working on your combos, or talking about all the things you mentioned, like being too offensive or like losing your patience, more so than that, I think for you, the biggest thing to work on is to choose your button presses and your movement options, both on offense and defense, with intent rather than just autopilot. I think that'll help you the most. Right. So what I want you to do moving forward is I want you to watch your replays kind of like how we just did today. And I want you to try to see these exchanges, like these very clearly defined exchanges, not so much in neutral, because neutral is a little bit hard to break down, but these very clearly defined situations where either you knock down your opponent or your opponent knocks you down, or you do crouching medium kick drive rush or they do crouching medium kick drive rush, and they put you into like a guessing situation. Like anytime it's like somewhat like a strike throw shimmy match. And I want you to ask yourself, did I choose that option because I was actually trying to beat something, or did I just do something because I felt like it? And then I want you to use replay takeover. Like this. To try to actually do what you're supposed to do against that kind of option.
You say, hey, like, so, like, rather than just being like, I'm whiff punishing, think about, I'm stepping back to avoid the whiff punish. To avoid the throw, and whiff punishing his walk back. Trying to catch his walk back if he does it. That should be the mindset, as opposed to I'm just walking back because I'm like scared and looking for a button or something. Because I feel like in that case, like, it was very likely that I just did it because I was scared, and that's why I wasn't ready to respond.
Gotcha. But yeah, don't just be scared. Be thinking about like what your opponent can do. Use the screen freeze during things like drive rush to choose an option, and then also some other general strategies you can do, like, you know, knowing that walking back loses the throw. But if you lose the throw here, I mean, you got a lot of health. Is this really that bad to get thrown here? Not really.
Yeah.
Like, you lose screen position, but other than that. So that's kind of what I want to see you work on. Those things. Those are the big ones. So I've been talking for a while. Do you have any questions for me right now?
I think a lot of that stuff that you're saying makes sense. Like, I definitely have a lot of intentionality that I need to get into my gameplay, which I do kind of feel like has been like a common thing too, where I like I told you before, like I feel like I notice I autopilot, and how do you like get yourself out of those autopilot scenarios?
Mhm.
And um I guess if anything, like in the short term, like let's say like I'm playing ranked, and I tend to let my emotions kind of like run things sometimes, where it's like, I can play pretty like tilted or pretty like emotionally, right?
Mhm.
But how do I maintain like a sense of just like, all right, like here's my game plan that isn't overcomplicated, like just something simple. And then, like, I think you giving me just the option of saying, hey, like use crouching medium kick for your shimmy slash uh you know footsie attempts just kind of simplifies things, because if I'm thinking, oh well, I need to do shimmy, medium punch, stance cancel, medium kick, right?
Yeah, it's too
That's
much.
that's way more complicated, but that's what I've been like trying to do because it like looks cool, but looking cool versus practicality is like different, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm, mhm, mhm. Exactly. So what I think you should do is go back to basics and make sure your strike throw shimmy game is really solid. So I think that'll help you kind of simplify your gameplay, not let emotions take control. Because if your strike throw shimmy game is really good, you can
Mhm.
always put your opponent into a mix and then try to like open up your offense based on that. So
Right.
let's go through one thing I noticed that you were doing badly. The thing I said, when you did this, it hit and you went to crouching light punch. So first thing I
Mhm.
want you to work on right now is your crouching medium kick, drive rush, hit confirms. And it can be off forward medium punch as well. So either forward medium punch, crouching medium punch, or crouching medium kick, hit confirms. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into training mode. You're going to make sure the opponent is set to crouch and block all. And all you're going to do is just practice this. And I know you're probably thinking, but I can do this already because it's pretty easy. However, what
Yeah.
we're going to work on is this. I want you to just Chun-Li's +1 on this. What about this? +2. Okay. So you would always want to go into crouching light punch, not standing light punch, because this doesn't give you the frame
Yeah.
advantage you need.
Yeah.
So I just want you to go into this, and I want you to just get used to that block animation. And I want you to look at your opponent when you do crouching medium kick drive rush, and you're going to use the screen freeze to hit confirm. So just get used to doing this. All right, now we got that down. If your opponent blocks, what are your options? You're +2. Can your opponent walk back out of your throw? That's the first thing we're going to figure out. We're going to go like this. Turn off drive impact. We're going to go backwards. We're going to turn this on. We're going to go continuous frames, 30 frames this way. They block, they walk backwards. So we're going to go here. No, they can't walk. They can't back walk out of it. So that's guaranteed. Can they light punch out of it? No, because you're +2. Wait, what? No, they can't. Now, next question. Can you shimmy them if they push an immediate throw? No. So, what are you trying to beat in this situation? How do you set up strike throw shimmy? Well, if you think they're going to push a button, this beats their button because this is 5 frame.
Yeah.
If you think they're going to immediate throw, this also beats their throw because this is 5 frame and you're +2. So your standing medium punch covers both like mash, 4 frame, and it beats normal throw. Then you have to think, okay, what if they do parry or reversal? Well, then you lose. So at that situation, it's like, okay, well, I think they're either going to do parry or Shoryuken, but I don't think, or I don't mind losing to an immediate throw.
Right.
Then you can shimmy back. All right. What if they do the delayed throw? Can I whiff punish this?
Yes.
How do we practice whiff punishing it? Well, we turn on normal throw. We turn on do nothing. And we only push the button if we see it come out. So practice this. Turn on do nothing, turn on normal throw. Then, to make it really good, what does shimmy lose to? Well, shimmy will lose to people pushing an immediate crouching medium kick, right? So we're going to turn on crouching medium kick, and we're going to go like this.
That gets me all the fucking time.
Now, this is hard, because if they go for an immediate one, it's really hard to, like, walk back, because Ken has a 7 frame. But let's assume it wasn't a 7 frame, because it's hard against Ken. Let's just guess it was a regular character with an 8 frame. What I want you to do is I want you to practice this. See, I'm walking back a little tiny bit, and I'm still blocking this.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn on that medium kick, and you're gonna turn on an immediate throw, and you're gonna immediate throw. Sorry, not immediate, because it doesn't work in that situation. Delayed throw. And you're gonna see if you can get out of throw range. It's a little bit tricky. You can't, not against this character. So Chun-Li doesn't have that setup. So yeah, if you're doing the shimmy, then you lose. Then you just lost rock paper scissors. There's nothing really more you can do with that. So just practice that. So then now you have your basic offense ready to go against opponents who block your crouching medium kick drive rush. Then you're gonna say, okay, that's on block. What about on hit? You're gonna go into your combo. I'm just gonna do standing medium punch because it's easy. I don't know the season 2 combo with her. I don't play this character, so I'm just gonna do this for now. And you're gonna go into your full combo. Then you're gonna practice just doing this and just building the muscle memory for what it looks like when Ken gets hit. And do this a couple of times. Once you got that, you're gonna set your opponent to random block. And then you're going to do, if it hits, you do standing medium punch, and if it gets blocked, you do crouching light punch. Whoops, I screwed that up. I'm messing it up. It's way too early in the morning for me. But that's
all good.
That's what you want to practice. And you want to be able to get that 10 times in a row, both sides, no problem.
Right.
If you could do that, then at least you have your basic strike, throw, shimmy, pressure labbed out mid-screen and in the corner, and that'll make it much easier for you to dictate what you want to do against your opponent. What I would suggest doing, same as a knockdown, the first time you put your opponent into this mix, I would just shimmy them. Because again, you'll get to see exactly what they're doing on defense.
Right.
You don't have to. Your choice as a player, but that's just my recommendation as your rank. So simplify your, so just to summarize everything and just to give you something that actually concrete to work on, because for you, I don't see too many mechanical issues, so it's a little bit harder for me to give you like a concrete training plan to work on in training mode, because you don't really have that kind of an issue. Yours is mostly mental, and then how you're structuring your game plan in the middle of a match. So for you, what I would recommend is really spend some time watching your replays, trying to find where you made weak decisions on either offense or defense, trying to think, okay, what could I have done better in this situation to cover one or more options? What were my opponent's options, not just in general, but also based on their character, like matchup options? What could my opponent have done? What could I have done to counter this? And what would have been the smarter play that didn't get me blown up if my choice just didn't work?
Yeah.
And that's what I want you to focus on. Then if you find that really difficult and you're watching your matches and you don't know where to move on from there, either ask a friend to take a look at your, not even the whole replay, just to look at an exchange and say, like, what would you have done, or what do you think I could have done better? If your friends still don't know, just watch top level Chun-Li players. I know they're kind of disappearing right now, but watch top level Chun. Yeah, he's not, I don't even think he's really playing her that much anymore. Just watch top level Chuns and try to like copy and paste their play. Last thing I'll leave you with, just because it can be hard to find top level Chuns on like the YouTube replays, go here, replay list, search, general search. You can go this month. Battle type. Ranked. Crossplay all character. Where is she?
Under Honda.
Under Honda. Where's Honda? Whoa.
You're
Here we go.
hovering on them. Yeah.
League, Master, Confirm, Region. Just choose Japan because Japan has the most players. Go no preference. Region. Japan. Then the trick is, don't just search. Go here. Sort. You're going to go by League. Descending. And now you're going to find the highest ranked Chun-Li players on this list. And then you can go through here like Haitani, right? You can watch classic Haitani play against JP and just see what he's doing. Or you can watch like any of these people playing. You can watch their matches, try to copy and paste their play into yours, especially on knockdown and defensive choices, and just try to take it from there.
Got it.
All right, dude. Sorry to cut this off really abruptly.
Nah,
I gotta
good.
get going. But I'll upload this when I get home from work, so you're not gonna get it until a couple of hours from now. But